Hello. Welcome to my Indigenous collegiate level oral narrative on digital culture in the realm of live streaming and video storytelling in digital format. Please endure this avant-garde Art Nouveau inspired piece. Today's story begins a few weeks ago on our trip to Eastern Washington for the first weekend out of 2 weekends in a row of going to Eastern Washington. I got very, very tired, so I was laying by the car in hot sun. I didn't know it was around 100 degrees, but passing motorists called 911 in distress that I may be in distress. And subsequently, I was provided aid had I needed it, medical had I needed it. I didn't need to leave, but I was asked when I was going to leave. I said soon. After we get into dry clothes from swimming in the Columbia River, it was not a 200-foot drop down, as the officer warned me about, as we had just been there, and some confusion lingered in his mind that we had just gotten there to go in the river. But I assured him after we got dressed, we would leave. After we had some lunch, we would leave. About 5 blocks down, it was an interstate, so there's no blocks really or buildings or anything. There's guardrails. Barren scrublands of George Washington, very close to the gorge on the Columbia, just on the other side actually. We trekked on a ways more, but about five blocks down there was a nice pull off, kind of a park and easy access to the river. After another 30 miles, 30 minutes maybe, I looked for the first house that would be adequately have like some grass that I could lay in. We were in tumbleweed country, sagebrush country. There wasn't much shade. Wasn't much recognizable Terra from the parts that I've been from. But a small miracle came. Very odd story, though, that I feel like I need to explain. These people might find me one day kind of interesting in what all happened, and I wish I left them my card. But anyway, I pulled over to this first house, and so I knock on this door, and it has 2 buildings here, and I knock on the first one. No answer, and I knock on the second one. Not really any answer, but about 6 puppies come out and surround me and Ruby and Cruz. Make it a little distracting to get back to the car too quick, but we reluctantly went back to the car as nobody answered. As I got back to the car, I looked back at where the puppies had kind of come from and hoped that someone would come out so I could ask them my odd request. And someone did. Someone did come out. And they didn't speak any English. I was very persistent in insisting he does know English, maybe, in not so many words, that he pulled out a phone and called someone who could translate for him. And he translated that he didn't trust us, didn't understand totally what we were asking, but just asking for somewhere I could rest. It looked like he had hundreds of acres, and said we could lay down in the back. So there might be some other point to that translation there, but I go get my blankets from the car, parked in front of the building that had no response before, and I go put my blankets back there, and someone new comes running over with cowboy boots and very much didn't speak English. Very much English, but spoke a lot more English than the other person. Let me know that the police were on their way, and why I would be anywhere, putting my things anywhere near the building. I later find out that they were robbed of guns, and maybe possibly recently, and they were very, very suspicious. And the guy lets me know the police are on their way, and that the owner is there, and is very upset. I said they've had a lot of trouble before. So I say, what's the problem? I was on the phone with the guy translating that I could stay somewhere. Donde. Where can I stay? And so they point over to the puppies, where all the kennels, a couple kennels and these 6 puppies and this dog out on a leash was. And I just didn't want to be trouble, so I guess I had picked a neighbor's yard instead of where they actually wanted me to go. And they offered us pizza, which we accepted. And I was able to lay out and rest and recover from And just a no sleep at a rest stop the night before. And these like 6, 7 puppies were the most perfect thing for the kids to play with.
Oh my gosh.
I had maybe one bite of the pizza, and I think by the end of it, the guys thought I was sick with COVID, or someone maybe suggested that I was sick because they hosed down all the puppies in the kennel before and put them in the kennel, which they weren't in the kennel before we left. And they did not come back out. And I knocked on the door to tell them that we were leaving and thanked them for the 20th time. We went to Eastern Washington a couple weekends in a row, and it turned into being a very memorable highlight. I wish I knew what kind of puppies they were. They were, I want to say, like 16, 17 weeks old, so they were nice and, ready to go if you're going to sell a puppy. They were just old enough that they kind of needed to be separated from their parents, so they got to kind of run free. The dad got loose at one point, and I think the guy had to call him back with like a cattle whip or something. That dog did not want to come back. I think he did eventually. But I didn't sense they were bad dog owners or anything. They seemed to be needing a bunch of guard dogs, though. And I think we were there at a crucial time that those puppies were able to interact with kids that may have not really had that opportunity. But I thank those Mexican brothers that let me stay there. Mexican brother. I tried telling him I was a YouTuber or something. He's just like, no English, no English. He just spoke slowly and tried to speak as much Spanish as I could, but we had a few moments while he was like sitting on this tractor. Felt like a cool connection. Trying to tell him I rode 4-wheelers or something like growing up. That concludes the story section. Hell yeah, Zelia. Yes. Yeah. Yes, please. Everything okay? I know. I know. I know. No. No? What do you mean? No, I might have been eating or something. You hungry? Okay. Sorry for trying to plan your whole after work life. Okay. See ya. I'm not laying down. I'm not laying down. Not laying down. Apparently, I'm not allowed to lay down. No more laying down. I'm not even eating something. Why do they say that? I ordered tacos, but I forgot to cancel dinner, so I guess I'm out in like Splinter. I'm a freaking winner. If it's like a dog, I'm like a wiener dog, cause I'm like a feisty but small. Oh. I have fancy purple ties. Abaduba. Abadoobie lies. The lies stretched in within the scope of finding out everything's lost at little cost. I like to be told, but not bossed. I like to draw, but not get lost in the Bob Ross at all cost. Okay, remember about what we should do about the phone?
Sure.
Be social about homie one Kenobis.
How many minutes is she gonna be here?
More like how many seconds? Nobody's sleeping here. That concludes today's lesson. Why is it so cold?